Well, hello, it's Andrew here yet again. Today we're up to episode 160. And this is Jesus again in the temple. And we're starting a series of traps now, where the religious leaders, the Pharisees, the Herodians, the Sadducees, the scribes, the whole lot are trying various ways to get a hook into Jesus. So we pick the narrative up at Matthew chapter 22 and verse 15. Then the Pharisees went and plotted to entrap Jesus in what he said. So they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere and teach the way of God in accordance with truth, and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us then, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not?" But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. Then he said to them, "Whose head is this, and whose title?" They answered, "The emperor's." Then he said to them, "Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were amazed. And they led him away. They left him and went away. So we see here two groups combining to trap Jesus. The Pharisees, whom we know a great deal about, and the Herodians, whom we know very little about. The Pharisees are the sect of the synagogue. They are the biblical fundamentalists, the evangelicals of the day. They are us, the part of the church in which I grew up and with which I have identified. Though that identification is getting harder and more tenuous by the day. These are the people of the book. Those who believe it to be inspired, the Word of God, who take it extremely seriously and tend toward literalism. They believe in the supernatural, they believe in angels and demons, and they believe in the resurrection, in contrast to the Sadducees, who we'll see very soon, the sect of the temple, who tended to be theologically liberal and believed in none of these things. The Pharisees arose out of the synagogue, and the synagogue in turn arose out of the Babylonian captivity, where the people were removed from the sacrificial form of worship that centered on the temple and had to rediscover how to live their faith in a strange land in a new way. It's that song from the Psalms, "By the Rivers of Babylon," which was popularized by Boney M. Weiss, where we sat down and they cried, "How do we worship God in this strange land?" And it was a synagogue that came out of that. The Herodians, on the other hand, we know very little about. They appear twice in the New Testament, once here in Matthew and once early in Mark. And in both cases, they're in company with the Pharisees, and they're trying to deal to Jesus. We can infer that they were people who believed in the dynasty of the Herods as the appropriate rulers of Israel, whereas the Pharisees would be expecting to look for the rule of the line of David. Although it's generally believed that the Herodians also wish to be free of Roman oversight, I'm left wondering about this, as the test that Jesus is being put to here would seem to be more suited to a people who are okay with Roman oversight as long as the people were governed more directly by the Herods. The last thing they wanted was for the Herods to be removed and to be replaced with Roman governors like Pilate. At least the Herods understood the Jewish people and knew that in order to maintain their power they needed to be nice to them, at some level, to make sure that the threat of rebellion due to foolish or insensitive incursions into the Jewish people's way of worship was kept to a minimum. That threat needed to be kept low, because they knew how volatile the Jewish people could be if their systems of worship were under threat. The Pharisees and the Herodians both see Jesus as an existential threat to their way of life in uncertain and precarious times. They do not want the political boat rocked and the full weight of Roman power being pressed down on them. While life may not be great, it's at least bearable. And they don't want Jesus upsetting them. So, there's a ruse, and it's carefully planned. They need a gotcha question, where it doesn't matter what the answer he gives is, in their binary thinking, they've got him either way. If he says yes, you should pay taxes to Caesar, they will use this against him with the people, because they hated the Romans, they hated the taxes. If he says no, you shouldn't be paying taxes to Caesar, they have him with the Romans as an insurrectionist. They never considered that there may be a third option. When people start flattering us, telling us how wonderful we are, we need to be maybe even just a little wary. It may be genuine. It likely, though, comes at a price. In this case, they want to trap Jesus. Often flattery is used to co-opt us, to bring us to the side of those who are flattering us, into their camp, ultimately to use us for their purposes, whether it be to directly support a cause that they hold dear, or to simply claim us as their friend. We've got to be careful. And Jesus is on to this one. Even as they start talking, he knows that something is up. I think we will like to be liked. Surely, most of us like to be thought to be wise. We like to be thought to be sincere. We like to be thought to be truthful and fearless and being independent thinkers and impartial in our judgments. Most of us probably do. And so here they are. They're laying on the flattery with a trowel. I can imagine as they're speaking one of Jesus' eyebrows going up, a little smile appearing at the corner of his mouth, his eyes starting to twinkle. Okay, he's thinking, any moment now and the trap will be open for me. Wait for it. Here it comes, here it comes. So that's it. Show me the coin used for the trap. For the trap, yeah, that's it, alright. Show me the coin used for the tax. And they bring him a denarius. And whose head is this? And whose title? The emperor's. Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's. The wisdom of that response. You gotta laugh. I wonder if they did. It seems that they were amazed and left him alone. Well, that one didn't work. But as we'll see, they haven't quite finished yet. But they are getting close. I hope there was something in that for you. God bless you.